Alright, what's up, guys? It's Teo, aka Career Ended here, coming at you with a little OMPL 11 coverage. I'm just going to be going over the week 3 games. For Mix and Mega, I feel like no one is covering that tier, and I feel like it deserves some love. So I might do this. I'm not playing this week, so I feel like I had some time to devote a little bit to just going over a couple of the games. So we have the game between Pichu's and IAPT here. So two pretty cool teams. Pichu's got a little bit of a fatter team. Both of these players got subbed in earlier in this week. I know IAPT got subbed in for KDCA, and Pichu's got subbed in for Ice Master. I think this is Ice Master's team, but not sure. And I think IAPT built this team himself. I don't know if it could be a KDCA team though as well. But anyway, let's just hop right into the game. I watch these on fast or hyper fast usually. So yeah, we got a Glalatite Refrigi Aleki, and this is going a little bit too fast. I don't know, not a very good analysis so far, but we got some RC's ground coming on the Corv. What else has been revealed? The red orb Ursa Luna, so it's really fast. It's also got SD. Gets the slow U-turn out on the E-turn here to bring back in the Luna. This thing probably has a lot of SPDF to take on the things, so that actually gets scared out pretty easily, but yeah, with a lot of SPDF comes not much attack investment, and that Earthquake only did 26 to Arc Ground, and pretty good double back into E-turn there from Pichu's, keeping up some pressure, so you could probably get some chip on the Luna, which of course probably isn't running rest, so of course the chip will just stay there forever. Quite good play for Pichu's, and he can always just bring in the Arc Ground and recover back on this. So IAPT brings in his own Arc Ground and gets up the rocks on the Gastro, which reveals Stable Knight, so that Arc Ground will not be able to get up the rocks again if Pichu's ever gets a chance to spin, because this Gastro could probably just come in on this thing, because they usually don't run Calm Mind or anything to force that out. But anyway, get some good chip on the T-Kick there on this Zapdos, which is I'd say a pretty big threat to Peach's team. And okay, so we got the Blissey coming in, and yeah, so Arc is going to reveal Ice Beam there, which means it absolutely won't be able to touch the Gastro, unless, of course, you can get the Gastro quite weakened, and then it wouldn't be able to switch in on a Judgment. And the Camera type Fire Blast Blissey, I'm not sure about Fire Blast, but Camera type, that Sheer Force boost is really doing a lot to Stable Knight Corv, and it won't actually recover. He could have fished for a miss there, but he would have died to either the next one or the subsequent one after that for sure. And brings in the Galar Slowking in on the Zapdos here. He's a bit scared of dying to a Brave Bird at minus 1 defense, so I can understand that. It brings out the Arceus, Arceus, Scarfseus. They're all ground types, so fishing for a freeze, it looks like IAPT's going for here. He needs to make progress with his team, and his Zapdos is already at 27%, so can't really blame him. Of course, he does have this Ursa Luna, but that Scarfseus ground in the back is looking like a little bit of a threat at this point. So maybe a burn on the Fire Punch, but of course nothing, and then he tries to get a heal up from the Corv. And the Arceus ground actually can't touch the Corv, so the Corv will be able to heal up here for free and get the Roost off and back to 100% HP. And the Gastro is rocks and tries to get up rocks, but that's fine, because the Gastro will probably just get up to 100. Oh no, he gets up the rocks. That's a good play from Pichu's, knowing that he'll switch out there. Oh, we got a Pidgeotite Magearna, a very scary set, but in front of an Arc Ground, not much to be done. Oh, so it is a Wisp Arc Ground, so that does make sense. I assume, I actually don't know what the last move on that would be. Perhaps Taunt, but I guess he could have clicked it. But it looks like this gear actually will not be able to take down this Arc Ground, even after a couple boosts, which is kind of sad. But man, wow, what a scary stone that is, I would say. Anyway, so it looks as though IAPT is in a pretty unwinnable position here, unless his Regieleki can start critting stuff or something. But everything is pretty healthy, including this Galar, and E-turn at 100%. It's kind of looking bleak for IAPT in this situation, and I watched this game earlier. I'm pretty sure IAPT is just she's too far in the back, and he wasn't able to make sufficient progress with Zapdos before it got weakened, so I really don't see a way he can come back from this point. So we're just going to go a little bit faster here. We have an E-turn. It gets a crit poison on the Arc and does take the Judgment, so it is quite a bulky E-turn. And Arceus able to get up rocks, but yeah, this Ursaluna is going to get chipped down. Ursaluna, Zapdos, no recovery, of course, is the only breakers. Pichu's fatter build here looks to be able to outlast IAP's team here. The Magearna wasn't able to really put a dent into that Arceus ground, and really just the whole team seems to struggle with Arc ground, which is very unfortunate for IAPT, of course. This game does go on for some time, and the Ursaluna is a very dangerous Pokemon in a lot of other tiers, but the Red Orb Ursaluna really wasn't able to make a lot of progress in this game. So a fun bring for sure in this new meta. That was another reason I wanted to do this review, by the way, just tell you a little bit about myself while we watch the rest of this game play out. I said this tier might not get enough love, but I think it's a great tier, and honestly this new meta is very interesting. There's a lot of viable stuff, and of course we still have some crazy Pokemon allowed, like the Pidgeotite Stone is something. I think Golden Go could be looked at as a Pokemon that probably doesn't belong in the tier, at least as a Pokemon that can use a Mega Stone. It probably should be restricted again. Eternatus, of course, got banned during this week, so this was the last time they were to use it, but it will no longer be in this tier, so we'll see what else is pretty good. I do know that Zapdos was suspected last generation, though I think there's sufficient counterplay right now, but man, it's hard to switch into a Brave Bird for a lot of teams, so that potentially could have a look at. And of course I'm just gonna forfeit right here, so that'll be it. A good game played by Pichu's. Of course he probably did have the pretty good matchup here. His Arc ground really sat on a lot of this team, and IAPT wasn't able to use his Zapdos to break through this I would call it a semi-stall team, and a well-played game to both players, I would say. So the next game we got here is QT and Damflame. Let's just hop right into it. I'm going to put it on fast and we can just talk about it. So here's the Golden Go. I think this Pokemon is quite overpowered in this current metagame that we've got. Of course, this Latiasite Arceus, this Latiasite version is able to sit on this Arceus because it's not fearing for Judgment, and that does a lot. But QT reveals Flamethrower. Interesting tech, but I guess that's a good enough coverage, better than Ice Beam, he thinks. So it does hit the Golden Go and put it at 8%, which is great because that was quite a large threat to his team. Stop-gapping the Zamazenta, unless of course it was Lopunny. And this Slowbro is setting up. Scared out still by Eternatus. That's how strong Eternatus is. And he does reveal the Blue Orb Magearna, so that is walling that Eternatus to hell and back. Eternatus cannot touch him. We got an E-Killer. Ooh, not often seen Pokemon, but does hit that Aleki for 85%, put it down to 3, dead to rocks, any kind of chip whatsoever. And we got a setting up E-Killer. That's scary, but QT does have the Skeledirge. The unaware Skeledirge doesn't need a Mega because it actually, he gets a dodge. A pretty lucky dodge for Damflame there. And the crit Shadow Ball. Damflame going on a little bit of a streak here with some luck. And he does reveal Lopunite Zamazenta, so it will be able to hit this with fighting moves. It doesn't look as though Damflame wants to heal with this Golden Go. He just wants to chip. But perhaps if he had healed, and he could have brought in this Lecky to avenge the Zamazenta. But anyway, the Magearna comes out here for QT here, reveals Iron Defense. Ooh, could be a scary setup. And Damflame does give him an extra turn by going to Arceus instead of Landorus Therian on turn 22. So double Iron Defense. This could be a dangerous situation for Damflame here. Oh, and the Magearna is at 42%. So, and an Explosion for 23. That's not a lot it's not a lot of chip. Maybe the Zamazenta will be able to take it. And the Magearna will live on 2%. Very unfortunate for Damflame because that Magearna is getting all the way back healthy again. And it looks like this mag is going to claim sweep 5 Pokemon on Damflame's team. That's quite an unfortunate situation, but what can you do? He has Recover last on Arceus. So it is very confusing why he went to Shadow Claw Arceus over the Landorus earlier on this Magearna, though I guess this Magearna hadn't revealed any moves, so it's a scary Pokemon. There's not much you could do, not much you can predict. It could have been an Ice Beam variant, so bringing out Landorus right away might not have been the safest option in his mind, but it does end up costing him, and he turn 33 forfeits right there. And a good played game by both players, I would say. Otherwise, very, very, well, not very anything. Just some lucky turns from Damflame's part, but QT ends up with the victory in the end. So I think QT moves to 3-0, and Damflame, I think he's 0-3, but don't quote me on that, of course. I'm not the 100% on all the OMPL coverage. So for the next game here, we have XAVGB, aka Strash, versus Osake, the French warlord. Absolute Team Rocket Genius. We'll see what happens here. It's a very cool team on both sides. We have the Ceaseless Edger, and we have a slow Corviknight lead into Golden Go. Very interesting team from Osake's part. I wouldn't say Noivern is a very great Pokemon, but of course Boom Burst, when you have that flying stab, is very, very alluring to many players, so could be very dangerous. But it does look as though XAVJB has the Corviknight to just slow U-turn out on really a lot of things, and I'm not sure about that U-turn there. I kind of think there's not much to take a Fiery Dance on Strash's team, but or whatever fire move Moth could go for, and it does reveal Stable Knight instead of the typical Absolite. So this Corviknight does get the free U-turn. Oh, and a freeze on the Corviknight, so this Corv is frozen. We'll see what happens. Oh, that's a good 67% on the Samurott. We'll see if he gets up a spike here, and he water moves. Okay, into the Noivern, so not so bad. Metagrossite Samurott, very nice set. Can come in on Golden Go, take one hit, and get up spikes. Pretty good counterplay. And now we do see the Fiery Dance. Are we going to see a boost? Yes, we are. And we're going to see a Thaw as well, and a slow U-turn out from Strash. Very nice for him. It brings in the Arctic Ground, and we see a Calm Mind. So, it doesn't look as though Osake has very good counterplay to this, unless, of course, his own Arc Ground or this Slowbro could Calm Mind alongside it. But looks like he's just fishing for an Ice Beam, and this game could be over really quickly. And he does try to go to the Golden Go right away. I wonder if he was Latiasite to take that on. I actually don't remember. I did get the piece of this team, but I don't remember if it was Latiasite. But it does look as though this game is over, bar a freeze, and yeah, Osake will just forfeit there on the spot. So that's it for this game. 17 turns is not very long for a battle, but either way, it's a GG, and on to the next one. We didn't even see some of the members of this team, but of course, I am playing in the last one, so I had to save myself for last. The score going into this game was 4-3, so I knew I had to win to collect the W for my team. I knew what was at stake, and I'm playing against the good guy, Derpy Boy, who's on the account, Koraidon Gliding, and we see a Pidgeotite Sandy Shocks lead into Magearna. And you know what? For this game, I might talk about my thought process, where I was thinking about this game, just because I did play it myself. So I did lead with the Magearna. Even though this is a very scary Pokemon, I did want to get the ground immunity, because this is my only ground immunity on this team. And I didn't mind just getting the chip on this early, because then it would be this thing can't come in on the Alecki on a Volt Switch or anything annoying like that. And I knew I can always go to the Arc Ground in the back, and I get there turn 2, and I make a double here turn 3 because I really want to get the rocks early. I think a Magma Storm here, though. And he does reveal Arc Water, so I don't mind getting up my rocks here on the Arc Water, as I do have the Dragon typing with the Ampharisite, so I know I can take one Judgment pretty comfortably. And turn 6 here, I probably should have switched out, but I do taunt here on the Calm Mind, but I do get that nice 12% chip. And I can bring in my Blissey for free. Blissey will always sit on Calm Mind Arceus if they're yeah, really, most Calm Mind Arceus gets sat on by Blissey, and of course I am Seismic Toss, Calm Mind, Shadow Ball. This set that you almost have to run in a Golden Go meta, just because, gosh, this Pokemon is very scary. About 3 or 4 stones viable, but just very scary when you don't know what stone it is. And so he stays Calm Minding here for a little bit until I reveal it myself, and I knew I could just get some Seismic Tosses off. I do want to run this Arceus Water out of Recovers because it is very fat and sits on a lot of my team pretty easily. So just burning the Recovers. And I go to Heatran here. Honestly, I kind of think this is a misplay. I probably should have just gone and right to a Lucky from the start and let it get poisoned, but I can force it out, and Lucky's kind of looking like a big threat to his team here, not going to lie. But anyway, my Heatran absorbed the poison, so not a big deal. Anyway, brings out his Corv. I get some Volt Switch chip on that. I go to my Golden Go to block a Defog just because it's the right play to make, keep my rocks early. He goes to his Clodsire. I'm pretty sure I'm de-insight on this Golden Go, so I of course don't want to stay in there, and I can actually bring in my Paralyzed Magearna. And funny enough, I wasn't actually sure what to do with the Magearna after I took the Zapkin, and I kind of thought I was misplaying it, but I checked the speed stat and it hit 83, and I know from my game last week that Clodsire of course only hits 76 speed when you're Gyarados sight, so I was like, ooh, it's quite faster. I could come in on this in Pain Split and drink up that 130 base stat total HP from the Clodsire, and I can set up some spikes potentially, which are very good. I Ice Beam there just on a potential Great Tusk switch, and you gotta keep the opponent honest sometimes, and my Magearna is really sitting on this quite well. Earthquake only doing 25%. Really, he'd have to hope for some para hacks to kill that gear with this thing. And I just come into Earthquake, Extreme Speed, the Clodsire, because I know I can take an Earthquake, one Earthquake with with my defense EVs, or Toxic, and then this thing will be dead, and then it will really look like my Golden Go will just clean up his team. So at this point, wait here, let's go back for a second. This turn 26, looking back on it, I kind of wish I had just Extreme Speeded turn 25, because even if Corv lived, I can Volt out the next turn, bring in my Tran. There are plenty of options, but he gets me on the Volt Switch this turn 26, and this turn 26, looking back on it, I spent quite a bit of time here. We talked right after the game, and that was the first thing he asked me about was, he said he had canceled this turn a bunch of times, but that was probably one of the biggest turns of the game, I think. Of course, you can already see what happened. I switched out into my Golden Go, but I was really considering exploding right here, because even if he's Pinsirite is actually kind of a big threat to my team with the gear only at 30% and paralyzed. This Tusk could be very annoying at this point of the game. So I really thought just exploding and killing it would be good, but I was really scared that he would just go to his Corv and sack it to an explosion. So I figure if that's the case, it's probably just better to switch out the Alecki, because if I do explode on the Corv sack, I mean, you never know, right? Because the Golden Go is still very dangerous, even with the Clodsire sitting at 84 minus 24, so it's like, 60% after rocks and spikes? So I'm not really sure how about this play still. And of course he does spin on it, making the right play, of course, I would say. It's hard to say that there was a right play there for either of us, but of course, as a 50-50R, those happen in Pokemon. So and I go to the Gold, and here I kind of still think he's a bulky variant. I was like, I can let it die, or I can perhaps at speed, but honestly, these are some plays I'm not really sure I agree with now looking back in hindsight. But I can bring in my gear here for free, And I forget what I clicked there, but it doesn't really matter because I did get paralyzed. And at this point in the game, I kind of feel a little bit upset with myself because I definitely have let him get back into the game here at this point. And of course, making an Onyx 7 reference here. Like bringing my Magearna back on this Clodsire, and now this game will go on for quite a bit longer now, because I got that turn 26 read incorrect, and I let him chip my Heatran here just to get the Brox back up, and I don't really agree with a lot of my plays here. I taunt the Arc Water, but now my Heatran is 2%. It's gonna be dead to any chip, or just dead if it switches in at all because it is toxic. But that is kind of useful as a good sack, so I keep it, of course. And he EQs, I live on 3%, and I do get the plane split off, so I will be able to take the next one. And I think I'll just get up a spike here. Oh, I do get paralyzed, and he does recover though, so I will be able to pain split one more time. And I think it's here on turn 43 that, I do get up a spike. Oh, but he doesn't EQ here, and he goes to the Corv. This is a good play by him. This is his opportunity to heal the Corv, and of course I lose HP. But I'll be able to pain split up on the Corv. So this isn't the worst thing in the world. Of course, he can defog at this point, so I did want to Volt Switch out, but there's not much I can go to here. Like my own Tran won't actually force this out, and this thing can only Volt Switch on him. So we'll see what he does. But it seems as though he would have defogged there if he had it. So he probably is Body Press, Iron Defense, or Bulk Up Brave Bird, or some sort of variation of those moves. Brings in the Arceus. I just Volt Switch. I bring in this thing on the slow Volt Switch just to really do some things. I can get that 40% for free and burn a Recover basically, and go right back into the Blissey because of course nothing has changed since turn 10, and this thing is still hard-walled to infinity by this Blissey. And this Blissey is kind of looking like my win con at this point. I'm going to have to kill the Tusk, and then this Blissey could perhaps go the rest of the game and win. And of course if I do let it get toxic, that wouldn't be the case, but I think it's here. Yeah, here my Magearna gets paralyzed and I do lose it, so I do have to play very careful now, and I just go to the Arceus because I know he has to toxic it because it's a very scary Pokemon. If this was Calm Mind, it would probably just win at this point of the game, but I am not Calm Mind. I am DD Earthquake Stone Edge, or not Stone Edge, I think I changed it to Rock Slide, and I wish I had kept Stone Edge because anyway, at this point this Pinstripe Great Tusk is the biggest threat to my team, so anything I gotta do, I just gotta hit it in front of me, chip it down. Of course, I do sack the Heatran here because I have to get up a Seismic Toss with the Blissey, which will take one. Hopefully I don't get paralyzed. And then I'll be able to sack my Arceus Ground and bring in my Alecki to revenge it, of course, and hope that the Blissey can win the game from here, which it should be able to. The Spectre, of course, unknown set, but you got to be a pretty specialized Spectre set to take on Blissey. I think you'd have to run Gyarados Sight, Calm Mind, Taunt, or something. And, well, he's simply not that set, so he goes for a nasty plot, and of course I Calm Mind. I probably should have just Calm Minded twice and Shadow Bolt here. I didn't check the calc, but of course I think Shadow Ball killed at this range. We're not sure. I do click Calm Mind, but very scary situation. He's at +4. I didn't really know what he was, so I was a little bit intrigued. Of course, he goes for Draining Kiss and does 11, and all my worries are washed away as the Spectre goes down, and he has the Corviknight here, so this, as I do know, is probably not defog from earlier, so I should go fishing, basically. He's Bulk Up Brave Bird is revealed, so I really need some drops, and I get a couple lucky drops here, since I do end up go on to end up winning this game. And there's my first lucky drop, and this will be my second, and I would say that seals the game in my favor, as Brave Bird recoil in itself is doing 24% to him, so I need to get some drops, because otherwise he would have just been able to bulk up very, very high, but this Arceus is not going to be able to touch the Blissey at this point, and I'm going to run him out of recovers and just and the game right there, and I won the team the week for my team, so it's always a good feeling. And I'm glad you guys stayed around for the coverage of all 4 games. I'll just take a little look-see at next week's matchups, and we got some good games next week because we got the Gaza's Ghoul playing the Wiggly family. We got in the Mix and Mega game, we got Class versus Damflame there, so a little bit of an interesting team from Damflame with E-Killer this last week, so we'll see what he happens to bring this week. He has been having some trouble this OMPL, but we'll see if he can adapt to the new meta versus Class. And I'm not sure why that happened, but and now we're being taken away from the page, of course, during the recording. I guess I could have just scrolled back up. No big deal, no big deal. And then as for the next game, we're very lucky to get Telenet to RFN and get a W right on the board for us. I am on the bench this week. I'm not going to be playing. We'll have Space Speakers, absolute goat of a player, great player. It's been my testing buddy. He is 1-0 himself in Thuz. Together, our slot is 3-0, and we're playing XAVGB, who was I think he was number 1 in the power ranking, or I guess he could have been number 2, I guess, if Quantum Tesseract was number 1, but a very good player in his own right. XAVGB, very what's the word? Anyway, he's just a player that has a lot of clout, let's say, but definitely has the results to back it up. And that'll be a really fun game for me to watch, especially since whatever Space Speakers brings, I'll have a little hand in that. So we'll see how that game goes. And over here we have DB versus KDCA, 2 good buddies going up against each other for the Geezers and Flutters. Of course, the Flutters really need to win, so I wonder who will be able to break the cycle here. I do think KDCA already does have a win this OMPL, and DB is 0-2, so we'll see. We'll see how this ends up going. But that'll be a fun game to watch, of course, for sure. We'll see what they have to cook up, and we do have the cooking master himself, Ice Master, here going up against Quantum Tesseract. So this will be a great game as well, actually. If I had to pick a highlight of the week, I'd probably pick the Ice Master versus QT team, just because I do think Pichu's team last week was quite interesting. Of course, Quantum Tesseract, quite a decorated player himself. He's always able to cook up some good teams, and him and Redflix, they got some good support over there in the Mix and Mega Zone, so it'll be some interesting games this week. And I'd like to thank all of you guys for sticking around here while I just looked through some of the games. Maybe I'll do this again. I'm not sure. Maybe if I'm playing, I won't. Maybe if I'm sitting on the bench, maybe I will. Who knows? But thank you for sticking around so far, and have a great day.